And for 2024, Jeep has given the Gladiator a nice comprehensive refresh with a restyled grille and a nice new standard safety features as well as technology features to get you a better bang for your buck. And as well for this 2024 and 2025 model year, we are also getting a reduction in price as well. So if you want a Gladiator really bad, now might be your chance to do so. And this Mojave trim is really starting to make a case for itself with its unique suspension versus the Rubicon, as well as other unique features compared to other of the Gladiator models in the lineup, sitting right in the middle as we have it spec'd right here. Though it's no secret that as of this filming right now, Stellantis and Jeep themselves are having a little bit of an issue moving all of these units. So if you really do want one right now, I think now is the best chance to get some of the best deal. But I'm going to go around, show you all of the new features on the 2024 Gladiator Mojave we have here, and all of the unique stuff we're getting for this upgraded 2024 model year. And let's also not forget that the 2025 is also on sale as well as of right now, and it's essentially all the same stuff, but there is an all-new 4xe plug-in hybrid variant now finally available on the Gladiator lineup. So if you're really interested in getting one of those, definitely check out one of those on the Jeep website. Otherwise, let's go dive in. Now, as of this filming, we have one powertrain option here on the Gladiator Mojave, and that, of course, is the formidable 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. In this particular case, paired to the actually optional 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, if you didn't know, the Gladiator actually comes standard with a 6-speed manual, and you can opt for this 8-speed automatic for around $2,500, which should be a no-cost option, but we do have it here on this particular Gladiator. And of course, this is sending power to all 4 wheels. Well, typically in rear-wheel drive, as we have it in 2-high mode most of the time to get the best fuel economy we possibly could get out of it on the normal roads. But this has a unique version of Jeep's 4-wheel drive system, kind of tuned and spec'd for the Gladiator. You know, if you go for a Rubicon model and not this Mojave one, you're gonna have a different transfer case than this particular Gladiator Mojave. We're also getting unique shock, suspension system, a stiffened chassis, and a whole bunch of other cool features that are unique to this Mojave trim, which we'll get into in just a little bit. Otherwise, this engine, we're all pretty familiar with it. We know how it works, we know how to fix it, we know all the issues with it, so nothing too new here. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you can now soon get the 4xe powertrain, which is that 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired with an electric motor and certain variants of the Gladiator for the 2025 model year. So now we have some more variation in the Gladiator lineup, but as of right now, this is still pretty much the main option you're going to be getting throughout this lineup. Now, this particular Gladiator cannot tow the full tow rating that this vehicle can get. You actually can only get that full max tow rating in the lower trim Gladiators. With this Mojave specification, that tow rating is dropped down just a little bit, and specifically with the manual transmission, it's really dropped down in like the 4,500 pounds of towing. So 8-speed automatic in the V6, it's going to be the max amount of tow rating you're going to get in this particular Gladiator Mojave. Now, on the visual side for the 2024 and 2025 model years, there's not too much that's different with the Gladiator lineup. The main big difference here is this all-new grille design that Jeep has implemented across this and the Wrangler lineup for that facelift year. We know how this more integrated, blacked-out grille over here, of course, the traditional 7 slots, and the headlights are a little more integrated. Well, nothing too different on those sides either, and you can really tell a Mojave trim out of all the other Gladiators with these unique orange tow hooks up front over here, which I think is a really nice touch. But you can also see here, we don't have the steel bumper groups. We have a plastic bumper cover over here with LED integrated fog lights, which is still a nice touch, but you can also opt for that steel bumper group if you want that as well. Otherwise, we also have a front camera over here with an integrated washer that you can activate from the infotainment screen, which is a nice touch. And now we also have this hood scoop up here, which unfortunately is not functional on the Mojaves. The last time I saw a functional hood scoop on a Jeep, I was in the 392 Wrangler, and it actually used that kind of cool hydro function hood scoop to kind of prevent water getting into the engine if you're off-roading. But this one is really just for looks over here. But I think one of my other favorite features for this particular Gladiator Mojave is this awesome anvil paint color. It's around a $600 option, and I personally would spec it as it's kind of that cool pebblestone gray that's keeping in trend with the rest of the industry right now. Now, being the only desert-rated Jeep product that we have right now, there's a lot of unique fun things that we're getting on this particular Mojave model that you don't get on, let's say, a Gladiator Rubicon, for example. Here on the Dana 44 axles, it's actually around 10 millimeters thicker than the Rubicon's front axle, which is pretty interesting. And we're also using cast iron knuckles versus aluminum, which is found on the Rubicon, which is meant to save weight. Here it's a little bit more stiffer and stronger. Now, one thing that we don't actually get on the Gladiator Mojave that we do get on the Rubicon is that front sway bar disconnect, as well as that front locking e-axle there, but otherwise you're still getting a lot of unique stuff here, and that's not even going close to the suspension system that we have here. Now, hiding behind these wheels here, of course, is another unique bit to the Gladiator Mojave, and that would be the suspension. Here we have these aluminum-bodied Fox shocks here. They're internal bypass, and they have an external reservoir that Jeep says is going to help to improve on-road handling and comfort, while also offering a more predictable off-road experience, particularly on more sandy environments, as this Mojave is designed for. And the Gladiator Mojave also has an industry-exclusive Fox front jounce bumpers up here to help bottoming out in some harsher conditions. So that's pretty cool, but it's only featured on the front end of the Gladiator Mojave. Now, coming around to the rear of the Gladiator Mojave, again, not much is different here. And this one is an interesting example, as it's around $65,000 as configured, and we have no blind spot. That's a part of a package that this vehicle does not have, even though that we have a lot more standard safety systems like adaptive cruise control, front emergency braking, but we don't have rear parking sensors or a blind spot system on this particular one. Nonetheless though, I do like all the orange accents we're getting around the Gladiator, especially with these tow hooks over here. And we also have some nice orange accents around the Jeep logo itself. And we have a rear camera back here, and then popping down our rear tailgate, of course, we have our 5-foot bed. As you can see back here, we have some of the roof pieces up here because it is a nice day. We want to show that off. But this one has this soft Mopar accessory tonneau cover here, which is pretty easy to remove itself. You kind of just undo the two latches on the side over here, and you can open up the tonneau cover pretty easily to fit some more cargo stuff in the back of your Gladiator. We also have some LED lights integrated into the back here, as well as a 115 volt AC outlet on the side over here. But of course, it's not the biggest bed in this class, even though we have a lot of cool storage spaces throughout the Gladiator. But it is nice that we have a bed liner on this one. It is pretty rugged, and if you do need to, you can kind of haul some stuff around in here. But if you're gonna want a bigger bed, the Gladiator may not be the best thing for you, but it is still going to offer probably some of the best, if not the best, off-road capability in this entire class of mid-size pickup truck. Now, in the rear seats of the Jeep Gladiator Mojave here, we have some pretty cool stuff. But before we get to the seats themselves, if you haven't known about the Gladiators, you can actually just lift these entire bottom seats up from both sides here, which reveals is awesome lockable storage compartments underneath these seats. So opening them up, we have some storage over here, and on this side we also have storage. So you have a lot of really cool storage solutions, and from down here when they are closed, you can lock it with your physical key to make sure it is safe. We also have a winch up here. We also have a jack up here if you need to change your tire, and on the driver's side under these seats is where you can store all the bolts if you want to take your doors or windshield off and pop them in these nice, really set places, which is a really nice touch. And these seats go up and down so easily, really no complaints whatsoever there. And there's another hidden feature right behind this seat over here. So let's go have a look. Now, coming behind this seat over here, once you pull this seat lever down, it's going to reveal a little secret back here, and this is the Jeep Bluetooth speaker. Yes, you heard me right, the Jeep Bluetooth speaker, and it actually has its own little charging dock back here. You can see it's made with Alpine speakers, really rugged feeling speaker as well, and it actually is really loud and it pairs pretty quickly. And this is really cool to have in your Gladiator if you have like a tailgate or something and you're out camping and you just want a Bluetooth speaker that charges really quickly. It's right in the back of your Gladiator, right behind these seats area over here, and you just pop it right back into place and it hides back there, and honestly you don't have to really remember anymore. Just let it charge and do its thing. It's right behind your seat. And let's take one more quick look at the under seat storage over here. So of course, pull the seat right up. You can see we have that jack right here if you need to lift your vehicle up. And of course, we have this cool Jeep branded cover over here for our underfloor storage. Again, it's a decent amount of storage space as well, pretty deep. You have some cargo dividers in here. And as you can see, you can lock it with your key fob as well. I believe it almost looks like it comes out of here if you need it to, but pretty cool stuff. And of course, you have it on the other side as well, locking it up. And let's take a quick tour of these rear seats over here. So since we have the regular Gladiator Mojave, we don't actually have the leather option. So there is an option to get leather over here if you need it. You can also get Mojave X, which comes pretty much all optioned out. But this cloth over here has some contrasting orange stitching as we get with the Mojave lineup. Now, hopping inside of the Gladiator Mojave, of course, the doors can come off as well if you would like. But we also have this hard top option on this particular one, so that also can come off. So you really can have a unique convertible pickup truck experience, which is pretty much the only one in this particular mid-size class. We do have two nice big cup holders back here, as well as another 115 volt outlet back here, which is a pretty nice touch. We have two USBs that are covered under a cover over here that is water sealed, so to USB-A to USB-C, which is a really nice touch back here. We have our window controls mounted in the center, as well as climate vents back here, so we have a pretty decent amount of amenities actually. We also have the optional all-weather floor mats as well. Nice touch. And up here we do have some LED accent lights if you do need some lighting in the interior, and this is fixed as part of this beam over here with the speakers also built into it, typical Wrangler style. And of course, now for 2024 we have side curtain airbags all along up here for some additional safety in their Gladiator lineup. So that's a pretty nice touch back here. And honestly, these seats are really spacious. This is a really big plus for the Gladiator, and just in general, the rear seats are pretty much some of the biggest in this mid-size pickup class. The Ranger, the Tacoma, Colorado, the Canyon, all have pretty smallish seats, so this has a lot of space back here. I have plenty of headroom, and of course you can take the roof off, so you have unlimited amounts of headroom. We also have this manual sliding rear little window back here, which also is a nice touch. Now, before getting inside our Gladiator, we also have the remote start option on this particular one, and of course we have keyless access, and of course we have the physical key to lock and unlock that lockable storage in the rear seats. So I could actually just have it locked right now, and when your doors are on, I guess, you can just walk up to them and unlock it just like that. Unlocks all 4 doors. Lock it with this button here, so that's a nice touch. But you can also still use manual control if you're some conditions where you don't really want to be using your key, get it dirty. Now inside here is an interesting thing. So this truck is $65,000, but we have fully manual cloth seats, so it is missing the leather option. Now you can also get 12-way power adjustable seats, which have been completely and fully waterproof, that Jeep is saying, that can actually withstand wading up to like that 31-inch wade depth here. And if they do get wet, they'll be safe because everything will be waterproof. Though I don't know if I'd want to trust these cloth seats too much. I think they wouldn't be too fun in the water, though. You can see all the adjustments we have down here at full manual adjustment. I would say the seats themselves are actually quite comfortable. We have this pattern over here, that nice contrast stitching, as well as Mojave up here in the top of the seat back. Let's hop inside now. No side steps on this particular Gladiator Mojave, though we do have, I believe, these rock sliders on the side over here, or some side metal sliders, which is a nice touch. Getting inside, close up the door. We have lots of orange accents inside of this Gladiator Mojave, so let's start it up. The Pentastar comes to life there with a nice little Jeep animation up front there, which is a cool touch. You will see plenty of familiar features here on this interior, as it is identical to the facelifted Jeep Wrangler. So what do we have here? So familiar steering wheel design, leather wrapped as this piece is, and we have some nice orange stitching going around it. Of course, all of our familiar controls on here. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we do have adaptive cruise control is standard now on pretty much almost all of the Gladiators, which is a really nice touch, as well as that front forward collision warning and auto emergency braking. We also have Corning Gorilla Glass up here, so it's a little bit of a stronger glass to help prevent against rock chips, which is a really nice touch as well. You can also see a little bit more of those orange accents throughout the interior, especially up here on the dash, which I think is a pretty cool, sleek touch there. I also like the orange that's always on all of the Wrangler and Gladiator clusters. And of course, we have a very familiar cluster over here on the centerpiece, so we can kind of cycle through a whole bunch of gauges here of our adaptive cruise control gauge, as well as climate control and our navigation control and stuff. We can see a few different off-road pages as well. I actually quite like these gauges. I think it's still keeping in the tradition of the Jeep Wrangler kind of theme over here, that old school theme. We have all of our lighting controls here, as well as our 150 volt AC power switch here for our cargo area, which is a nice touch as well. And coming over to the center console area over here is really where the big change is. We have that new 12+ inch infotainment cluster screen over here, which is a nice big upgrade over the previous around 8-inch screen. This is Uconnect 5. We have wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as a whole bunch of nice fun off-road pages. So Jeep has now integrated these off-road pages and trail logs as well, which is really cool. I believe you can unlock a bigger subscription that will give you even more trail maps built into the vehicle. You can even have your own saved trail recordings as well. And of course, we have that front camera over here, which offers a pretty nice view. We can even clean as well, sprays it with a little bit of some washer fluid, and we can access our rear camera as well, though no 360 cameras on these Gladiators and Wranglers. I don't think you particularly need it. You can kind of see over the sides of the vehicle really easily. This isn't pretty easy to use. We've seen it on plenty of Stellantis / FCA vehicles nowadays. Another fun update in here is actually we have a whole bunch of retuned microphones throughout the interior. So regardless if you have the roof off or not, you should still be able to hear people, or the people on the phone that you're calling should be able to hear you, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, there's not too much stuff in this particular infotainment system. And so if you do go to your vehicle pages or controls, you can see in the off-road page, you get some fun little screens. So see what's happening with your transfer cases and your powertrain, steering angle, with a whole bunch of fun accessory gauges as well. Pretty cool stuff. Pitch and roll when you're going at lower speeds as well. And you can see in quick access to your trail logs, all built in with that one screen here. So not too much stuff here, but of course maps and navigation all works pretty well, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay is pretty flawless, I think. And it's really nice on this big display over here. It looks really, really gorgeous, crisp and clean. Air vents slim over here, and we have nice separate climate controls over here, as well as full heated front seats. And we also have our heated steering mode over there. And I love how Jeep gives you so many different options here to turn off things on this display, which could be distracting, especially off-road, so you can fully turn the entire system off there. Okay guys, you join us now inside the Jeep Gladiator Mojave, and of course we're going to drive it on some dirt roads here. You don't really need any type of serious vehicle to drive on these dirt roads, but we have the Mojave, and this is about as much off-road as I can find near where I live. So let's see how it handles on these roads. Now of course with the Gladiator Mojave, it is that more Baja style, or I guess sand dune style setup here. So we have those unique Fox shocks on this one with the remote reservoirs. We have stiffened axles compared to even the Rubicon, though we lack like things like such as a disconnecting front sway bar. We have some pretty nice tires on here as well. Very, very good tread. And over this rough pavement over here, we have like a lot of broken pavement, as well as transitioning a lot from actual pavement to this rocky stuff here. You can see quite a significant amount of vibrations and stuff coming into the cabin. Even with this really nice suspension setup we have on this one, they can't seem to fully erase all of it out, but generally I think it is quite good at handling it. And we're still just in too high on this. Of course, we have our unique transfer case on this one versus things like a Rubicon as well, and we can kind of see what's going on with our off-road pages. So we can see the status of our transfer case, our rear diff locker if we have that on, as well as some other fun things like pitch and roll. At lower speeds, that screen does become active, and we also have some accessory gauges to see what's happening as well as our GPS trail logs, which is a fun little thing. So we have a nice little off-road features on the Gladiator Mojave. And we also have a front and rear camera system as well. So we actually can activate this front camera system on this screen here. So you go over into your off-road pages. You can also have a quick link to it over here in your front screen as well, as I can't even find it. We have a rear view camera here. That'll pop up, and that will allow you to open up your front camera. So we have wheel trajectory there, and we actually clean it with this little button here. If it does get dusty or dirty, so it'll spray some washer fluid on that. But otherwise, you know, the Gladiator is very, very capable, and honestly probably the most capable mid-size pickup truck in this segment, and it has all those different varieties. Of course, we got this in the Rubicon, which is going to be your extreme rock crawling style vehicle there. But to have even, yes, it's just around a 5-foot bed, you're still going to have that capability and a lot of interior space that a lot of these other mid-size trucks don't really have. Now, I'm curious driving this thing off this road here, because I did actually drive this in the Ford Bronco Raptor with it. That has a fully independent suspension, like this one does not. And that one did definitely handle this kind of style pavement and gravel a little bit better than even this Gladiator Mojave can. I wish I'd have the chance to kind of take this into some kind of sand dune style environment to really put it out to work there, maybe out in Moab and Utah. But I think it's still doing a good job here. Just a lot of vibrations coming through the cabin, especially from that rear end where the bed is as well. You can definitely feel a lot of jumping around on this pavement here, especially at higher speeds. Now we do have a lot of fun features on the Gladiator as well that actually are coming standard now, like that forward collision warning and emergency braking, as well as standard adaptive cruise control as well. So out on the highway, it's actually quite a nice feature to have on this Gladiator Mojave. Though, like I have mentioned earlier in this video, is that we don't actually have blind spot on this one, so that's another additional package, and firstly that's around $65,000. I think it is still a little bit priced high even with these cloth seats as well. I think Jeep has also noticed that now for this 2024 and now 2025 model years. They are actually lowering the prices just by a bit, and offering some really impressive discounts to kind of compensate for that, because it still is a pretty good vehicle. It's very unique. It's a convertible pickup truck. The only other really one you can get like this is a Hummer EV, and that's over $100,000. So this is a pretty unique vehicle still. And transitioning right back onto tarmac over here, very, very smooth. I think it even handles even better on smoother roads than in off-road environments in terms of being a passenger inside. But we still have all of that capability if you do need to get in some stickier situations. And you can actually still kind of a rock crawl with this vehicle as well if you pop it into the right modes, pop it into manual mode. You still have that rear diff locker as well. And the Pentastar V6, well, it's tried and true Pentastar V6. I have to say, its pairing with this 8-speed, which of course is optional, is quite good. It's a very smooth shifting transmission. I really have no problems with it whatsoever. I have not heard good things about the 6-speed manual that is standard. I heard it has a lifeless clutch. I hope I don't have to experience it, but I'm surprised they actually still offer it for sale. As we all know, manuals are not a in-demand gearbox these days, especially in a pickup truck, but it is still cool nonetheless that you can actually get a manual in this vehicle. Now, one big thing that is coming with the Gladiators is we have that 4xe coming really soon to market for the 2025 model year. So I think that's going to help boost Gladiator sales quite a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how that powertrain combines with towing and payload capacity, with having the battery pack and of course the 2-liter turbo 4 under the hood. Hopefully, if they can figure out some way to shove in the new inline 6 in the Wrangler and Gladiator lineup down the road, or maybe in the next generation, I think that would be a really, really smart idea in terms of just more popularity and diversifying the engine lineup of these vehicles. But for now, not too bad. Now, of course, fuel economy isn't the best with these Gladiators. It's in the lower range that we can say. If pop over our fuel economy gauge here, we can see we're getting 16.6 mpg average here. On the highway, they say I think you can get around like 20, 22. I have not seen that even on the highway, so it's a little bit difficult to achieve those higher numbers, especially as this thing is just a brick driving on the road with a whole bunch of open holes all over the place. So there really is no aerodynamic flow over this car too much. And you can definitely feel that on the highway with the wind, but that's just the style of driving the Wrangler and the Gladiator these days. And of course, another great thing is now we have this much larger infotainment display over here. So using mapping systems, if you have a trail map popped up in here with even the built-in trail maps and mapping system, it's a lot easier to use. You have that Wi-Fi hotspot connectivity as well. If you're out camping, you have a signal. I think that'd be great to connect a whole bunch of devices too. And you have a whole bunch of nice auxiliary ports throughout this vehicle with its 2 battery packs. We have 2 12-volt batteries under the hood, one for auxiliary and one for our engine. So that's actually a really nice reassuring feature. Even when you come to a full stop and does its auto stop start, everything will still just be normally running. So it's almost, in a sense, kind of a mild hybrid style vehicle, but there's no sort of regenerative systems on this. But I think that'd be pretty cool if they kind of added that e-torque style system to this. I think it'd be a nice pairing. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick drive on with the Gladiator Mojave. And as always, stay tuned for more coming on Allcarnews. Cheers.